Okay, welcome to Gun 101. It doesn't matter what gun it is, every gun is pretty much the same. It may have a few little added features, but your gun is your bread and butter and you need to do this every single day. And I'm telling you now, I have had one gun in 20 years that has been faulty, all the rest have been dirty. So before you pick up the phone and call me, and I may not be there to help you, let's make sure you step through the Gun 101 so that you won't get any issues with your gun. So you've got your gun. Once you've used it, daily clean minimum. Hot water, wind your flow control all the way out. Hot water under here and let it rinse out here, and pull your trigger back and forward because we want to get rid of all the bronzer and spray tan, and then tip it upside down a few times until it rinses absolutely clear, and it's hot water. Minimum of every night. Rinse it over, dry it off, rinse out your pot, stick it in your dish rack so it's ready for the next day. So if you've used your gun at all, that is the minimum that you do each night. Now, moving on to your weekly clean. Again, this is your minimum time. If you're using your guns a lot, I would expect it to be done a lot more often, and it takes a couple of seconds to do it. So we've already done our daily clean. And then what we're going to do now is start stripping down our gun. And we're going to do it from the back, and I'll show you why. So your flow control comes out, which has obviously got a spring on it as well. Now pull your trigger back and pull back the needle. So we're going to pull out that needle. The reason we do it this way and we strip down the back of your gun first is that needle is the most expensive part of your gun. So we want to protect that. We don't want to leave that needle in there and take the front of the gun off and you drop the gun and you ding the end of it. So that's the back of your gun. Then we're going to take off the front of your gun. So you've got a silver piece here that holds everything on. And obviously if that gets spray tan in it, it's going to seize up and lock on there. You've got your directional flow, and it's got two little holes in it, so we need to make sure they get cleaned. So there they are. And then we get to the base of the gun here. We need our little utensil. And what we're going to do is set that on over there, and we're just going to loosen that off and undo it. Okay, so we're going to loosen that off until it gets that we can just undo that simply with our fingers. This is what we call the barrel and the nipple. So that will come off. So the barrel and the nipple, okay? And what gets blocked is that tiny little hole. So what we're gonna do then is all that goes into the sink. Make sure your plug is in it. Hot water, a little bit of dishwashing detergent, just a little bit, but hot water. And then we're gonna take our little brush or a toothbrush and we're gonna clean everything really well. So we're gonna make sure that we clean and scrub it. And we're going to clean and scrub it. Just a little tweak in each of the holes because they break up. That's where your spray solution comes out for your fan pattern. And make sure everything gets a little clean. And we're going to go through and do all that. And then we are never going to stick anything in this. If anything, we just want to run some hot water through it and give it just a little clean at the back. Okay, and we want to make sure we can hold that up to the light and we can see the light through that. And we're going to, once we've cleaned all that with hot soapy water, we're going to rinse it with hot water and pop it on your dish rack. I put a towel on my dish rack and I pop all that on there. Then I take my needle and I'm going to clean that because it gets a fair bit of tan on it. The spring, clean that. And the flow control, clean that. Hot soapy water, rinse it, pop it on my dish rack. And I tend to leave it all laid out like this because I tend to practice once and then do it the same way. So now we take our gun out of the hot soapy water, give it a rinse with hot water, and then what we're going to do is take our little cleaning utensil, we're going to clean out that barrel because that's where everything's going to get stuck in there. We're just going to give it a little clean in around there and just give your gun a little clean up, rinse it in hot soapy water. Make sure that you put some more hot water through here and pump it out because you'll get a fair flow through there. So hot water through there, some hot water through here, and then we're going to dry it all off and sit it in our dish rack and let it dry. Now, you can let it sit overnight, put it back together next day, or you can dry it off and put it back together. And this is how we're going to put a gun back together. Again, we're going to put the front of the gun on to protect that needle, because we don't want to pop that needle in there and then have it exposed and drop it. So we're going to put it on back to front. So the barrel, and we have our nipple, and that's going to go on through here. And see this washer? That washer actually stops all the solution coming out of the front of the gun. So if you have any issues with the front of your gun, you have probably either not tightened this up enough, or chances being it's too tight. So I get it finger tight, and then just a tiny, see how that's like about 1/8 of a turn, a tiny little tweak. If you wring its little neck, as I like to say, you'll split that washer and you'll get tan out the front of your gun. So that's on, then your directional flow can go on, and then you hold it all on together. So that's really easy, nice and simple. So not tight, just so you can turn it. Then you're going to put the back of your gun together, so you can get a little bit of Vaseline or gun lube and just rub it down the edge of the needle, and that just means that when it goes through those little washers, it will move smoothly. So that goes into the back there and goes through. So nice. You shouldn't have to push it in. If you're pushing really hard, you've got this too tight. Your spring control goes on, and then the back of your gun goes on. And then you can turn that in, and then you can pop your pop back on, and you're all ready to go again. So that's gun 101, and I'll be honest, I've never had a gun that hasn't had an issue from cleaning. So when you clean your gun, please make sure you go through all those steps and check all those steps, because it's really important that you look after your equipment so that you've got it to use. Another little hint that I'm actually going to suggest is that don't just come in, pick up your gun and do a spray tan. Make sure you come in and test your gun the day of your spray tan, so a couple of hours earlier. So if you find something's not working, if it's leaking here because that's a bit loose, or there's nothing come out here because someone's cleaned it and put this on upside down and your black bit's on the top, that you can go, oh yeah, I'm not panicking. I can take my time and work through step by step what your potential issues will be, because your issues with your gun will only ever be where I've told you that they are, where your gun assembly is. So it makes it nice and simple, and you don't have to panic, but just make sure you allow enough time to go through and do that.